Thank you very much, Taylor. What a scene in Atlanta, and some juice this afternoon in Charlottesville for a unique FCS P4 matchup. The 40th all-time meeting between the William and Mary Tribe and the Virginia Cavaliers. You're watching the ACC on ESPN as we welcome you inside Scott Stadium. Happy Saturday in week 3 of college football. Matt Schumacher, the former Ohio State captain. Dustin Fox, a big day, triple header on the ACC network. A lot to come still, including a conference tilt later on tonight out on the West Coast. But this afternoon, Dustin, we're excited to see a revamped Virginia offense that frankly looks totally different than last year.
Well, there's a big reason for it, and that is, of course, because Chandler Morris transfers in from North Texas. He played, I think, at every university across the country, and, of course, will finish his career here at UVA. And he's got guys on the outside to throw the football to. He's got guys on the inside, like Jamari Taylor, to hand the football off to. It's going to be fun to watch this offense today.
William and Mary won the toss and elected to defer, which means we'll get to see one of the most electric return men in the country. Cam Ross has already taken one to the house back in week 1. 40th all-time meeting between these two programs. William and Mary has won 6, and they are keeping it away from Cam Ross. And for more on William and Mary, we send it down to the third member of our team, Ashley Stroline.
Well, William and Mary head coach Mike London is tapping into the movie Hoosiers as a reference to keep his team grounded today. Just like in the movie, how coach measured the gym to show his team that the atmosphere, the stage is just the same no matter where they are. Coach London said, my message to my team is 100 yards no matter what field you're playing on, including here at Scott Stadium. As players taking notice, Jalen Jones says, we want to win today to prove we're the best team in Virginia, especially for folks like Coach London, who used to be here as the head coach.
Virginia's offense on the field first. It's Jamari Taylor sifting ahead for a gain of 6. And that's interesting, Ashley. Coach London, of course, was the ACC Coach of the Year in 2011 at Virginia. First pass of the game is complete to Trell Harris. And a first down for the Cavaliers. So many connections between these two programs. And Chandler Morris rather, has been absolutely terrific, Dustin, through the first 2 weeks of the season, despite the late interception last week against NC State.
Yeah, everyone's going to point back to that late game interception against the Wolfpack, and obviously you'd love to have that throw back as the young man for the Wolfpack made a great play in the end zone, but you know, that was a game where, you know, defensively they just
start. Offense, number 68, 5-yard penalty, first down.
They let it get away from them in the second half. You had the 10-point lead. They blow that, and still they had opportunities in the fourth quarter. They had a 4th and 1 that didn't convert, and obviously the interception.
After the penalty on Jack Whitmer, incomplete pass to Jamal Edrin. Whitmer starting today in place of the injured Wallace Unamba, down with a knee injury, sidelined last week. They do expect Unamba to return soon. Second down. And complete to Trell Harris. And by the way, there is a power issue in the stadium. That's why you don't see a score bug on your screen right now. We'll keep you posted on down and distance and score as the game develops. Third and long here for UVA.
Partner, we're going old school. I'm looking to the sidelines, the old school chain gang, to try and figure out what the down and distance is here. But it is 3rd and about 6.
William and Mary's defense trying to get off the field. Morris with all day to throw, hits Harris, who is spun towards the line to gain by Harrison Johnson.
He'll be a little short here, Matt. They're across midfield. It's going to be 4th and about a yard. And it would appear that they're going to keep the offense on the field, and I don't disagree with this call, even though it's early. I think it's the right call.
Virginia with a monster win at home against Coastal Carolina in week 1. Last week on the road at NC State, falling just short in a game they felt like they had. Trying to start this game on the right foot. Play action. Morris flushed. Looking. Morris going to try to get it with his feet, and he does. Extending the drive for Virginia.
Wow, this was a really nice job by William & Mary in the back end. They have it collapsed, and at the last moment, Morris says, the clock goes off. He says, I got to take off and go. And then on the back end, Bryce Barnes just slips. He's trying to come up to make the stop, and Morris does just enough.
Nice bat at the line of scrimmage by Luke Banbury, the Cornell transfer, who led the Ivy League last year in tackles. This is a depleted William & Mary defense, and so we expect Banbury to step up even more. 2 of their starters in the secondary out today with injury. Banbury, a preseason All-American at the FCS level. Here's Xavier Brown stretching it wide. And makes it 3rd and manageable for the Cavaliers after a gain of 7.
And Banbury makes another nice play here from his linebacker position. See number 4 right in the middle of your screen. Gets off a block and gets downhill, makes a stop. That's 2 back-to-back nice stops by the young man. The transfer from Cornell, she's mentioned. They have a great choir program there. I'm kidding, that's an old Office reference.
Is it 4-down territory again for Virginia?
Well, considering the kicker situation here at Virginia, absolutely.
Brown makes sure they don't have to make that decision. The leading returning rusher from last season, pushing the pile forward, nearing the edge of the red zone on this opening drive of the game.
Just a great push. I mean, he doesn't really have to do a whole lot here. A little bit of a counterplay inside. Does a good job reading, and then Banbury ends up getting in on the tackle, but he's kind of late to the party.
Virginia remains one of the best 3rd-down offenses in the country.
Man,
top 15 in conversion rate.
19 they had, and they converted 13 last week. That's a good percentage. Too many 3rd downs, by the way, that Tony Elliott told us this week.
There's a little reverse to Cameron Courtney, turning the corner. Courtney with a seam into the end zone for a touchdown. "23-yard score to open the game in Charlottesville.
Oh, you gotta love the old jet sweep coming around, and it gets a really good block down the field by the tight end, Dakota Twitty. Number 9 is going to see a lot more action today. Don't expect to see Sage Ennis that much, if at all.
Well, Petridge on for the extra point, puts it through. It's a 7-0 lead for the Hoos.
Well, it took a 4th down conversion to get down the field, but the Cavaliers offense gets started early here from Charlottesville. 7-0 over the Tribe.
Virginia leads 7-zip after a 10-play, 75-yard drive in this historic matchup. Two programs connected by the great third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, who's a graduate of William and Mary, and then, of course, later founded this beautiful university here in Charlottesville. 40th all-time meeting between these two programs. Shallow kick, returnable for William and Mary's Tariq Sims, and he is out near the 35. Well, these two programs first met all the way back in 1908, around the time Dustin Fox began playing football.
Indeed.
Virginia, of course, leads the series 32-6-1. However, William and Mary's last win over an FBS program was against Virginia back in 2009, and both coaches reminded us, Dustin, this week that they made it very close back in 2023 as well.
Well, listen, this is a series where, you know, the schools are close in proximity, so it matters. There's a lot of young men, you know, playing for William and Mary that would like to maybe be playing on the other side of the football right now, and they're not. So this is a big game for William and Mary. It's a big game for Virginia because you've got to take care of business here before you get into all the rough stretch of conference play that lies ahead. You've got Stanford on deck, Florida State coming here in a couple of weeks on a Friday night. It's going to be an interesting year for the Cavaliers. I love the way that they've started the season, Matt. Obviously, you'd love to have the win last week, but I think fans should be encouraged by the way that they played, especially offensively.
2nd and 10 for the Tribe, who have begun their season 1-1 with a pair of one-score games. Starting quarterback Tyler Hughes on the run. And his pass is caught by Devin Thompson. Hughes finally QB1 to start a season. Spent the last 2 years backing up one of the most prolific passers in program history, and Darius Wilson. Feels like it's his time, and Mike London agrees.
No doubt, and obviously this is a big stage for the young man to have his 4th career start. But when you talk to Coach London, I mean, they just love his steady approach. You know, how he acts in the meeting rooms, how he studies the game, never gets too high, never gets too low. It's what you need as a quarterback in a venue like this today.
Takes a hit on 3rd and long, and that pass was caught somehow by Devin Thompson, but short of the line to gain. The punt unit looks like it's coming out for William and Mary.
And I think it's a little bit too far. Good tackle there by Jacob Holmes with the pressure. Excuse me. If they were able to get a couple more yards, I think you'd consider it, but I think it's too early, Matt. And frankly, your defense did a decent job on the last drive. You know, you got Virginia to 4th down, which they had to convert, and you got a chance to pin them.
Cam Ross has other ideas. One of the most electric return men in the country is bottled up at his own 20. Well, our Week 3 ACC Network football lineup continues this afternoon. Bill Belichick in North Carolina coming off their first win, taking on Richmond at 3:30. Then Virginia Tech and Old Dominion in Blacksburg. We cap the night with a conference showdown. Boston College and Stanford out in Palo Alto at 10:30 Eastern. Of course, Carolina hoping to continue the momentum after falling flat-footed in their opener against TCU. Well, that is a storyline that many around the country will be following all year. Chandler Morris complete to Trell Harris, picking up right where they left off on that opening drive.
There's a little confusion there to start that play in the secondary for William and Mary. Remember, they're going to be without one of their top corners today, Latrell Smith Leaks. So Ethan Yip, 14, is going to step into that role.
There's a carry to Jamari Taylor. The North Carolina Central transfer moves the chains. And as a reminder, we are without the clock at the moment due to a power situation in the stadium. We'll continue to try and get that for you on the scoreboard. Currently just a shade under 8 minutes to play in the first quarter. Morris, beautiful throw on the run, hits the Purdue transfer Jamal Edrin. And this is the exact type of start offensively, Dustin, that we expected from the Cavs.
No, it's been balanced, it's been efficient, and they can run some tempo like they're doing right now at times, and certainly can be effective.
Morris on the play action hits Edrin again, and boy, they've got some weapons on the outside. Something that is a little bit different for this staff than what they've had in previous years.
Oh my goodness, there's a wealth of riches here, you know, on the outside with their skill players, especially offensively. All these transfers have come in, and then some of the younger players are really stepping up.
Morris, 2 shoulder fakes, was looking for Edrin for a 3rd time. And incomplete, and Morris a little bit hobbly.
Well, Matt, remember, he did get a little bit nicked up against Coastal Carolina in week 1. Ended up not missing any time against NC State. I think he's maybe got stepped on.
Remains in the game here for 2nd and 10. The left shoulder sprain did not affect him, as coaches felt, in the loss to NC State. Carry goes to Brown. And makes it 3rd and 5. You look at it, Dustin, on the outside, they feel like they have tons of weapons in the running back room. 4 deep with Vaughn, Brown, Whaley, and Taylor. And Des Kitchens, the offensive coordinator, told us no matter what program he's been at, he's never had 4 backs that they feel like they can go to.
No, and the one that I'm really interested to see today is Harrison Whaley, the transfer from Wyoming, who actually was the leading rusher at 2 FBS programs, NIU, prior to Wyoming.
It's Vaughn in the backfield here. They give it to him, patiently dancing up the middle, and Vaughn has Virginia in the red zone with a 1st down.
So patient, Noah Vaughn there. You said it. As soon as he gets the football, allows the blocks to set up, and on 3rd and 5 easily gets the line to gain.
Back to him, stretching it wide. Vaughn inside the 5 and lowering the shoulder into Ethan Yip, the backup corner for William and Mary. Second down and 1. A couple ticks under 6 minutes to go in the 1st quarter. Vaughn powering ahead and has a 1st down with goal to go.
Well, Jordan McDonald, number 12 for William and Mary, had Vaughn in the backfield, just couldn't get his foot in the ground, kind of slips a little bit, misses the tackle. Vaughn's like, all right, you're gonna get me out of here? Well, we got 3 other guys to rotate in.
Now Jamari Taylor comes back into the game, one of 2 FBS players with at least 5 rushing touchdowns.
I think Vaughn wants to stay in there and try to get the tutty. I played running back in high school. I used to hate when they took me out of the game around the goal line.
Understandable.
Yeah, especially when you do a pretty solid job getting your team in position to be there.
Interesting
Gotta
formation
put the ego
here.
aside, Matt. Yeah, it's interesting formation, no doubt. Chandler's having a hard time hearing the communication from the sidelines. You wonder if they're having some issues with the helmets as well. Look at that formation.
Direct snap to Taylor, and he lunges in for his 6th touchdown of the season.
Unique formation with Taylor almost kind of in like a pistol set in front of Chandler Morris. It's a direct snap to him. You got a lot of eyes there on William and Mary, looking at a bunch of different dudes in the backfield. Some misdirection, and it was really an easy walk-in touchdown for Jamari Taylor. As you mentioned, Matt, we're in week 3 of the season, and Jamari Taylor now has 6 touchdowns on the year, one of the leaders in the entire country. It's all Cavaliers early from Charlottesville.
Welcome back to Charlottesville, Virginia. 14-0 lead for UVA on a day of significance here at Scott Stadium this afternoon. The Virginia football program honoring the lives and memories of Lavelle Davis Jr., Devin Chandler, and Deshaun Perry as part of UVA Strong Day at Scott Stadium. The 3 football players who tragically lost their lives in an on-campus shooting in November of 2022. Their numbers and memories forever honored in the UVA football hallways, but today their families honored before the game at midfield. Dustin, and all the white shirts you see around the stadium today at Scott Stadium, also a symbol of honoring the lives of those 3 terrific young men whose lives ended too early a few years ago.
Just an awful, tragic situation that happened in 2022, Matt. And you know, I love that Tony Elliott's keeping their memory alive, you know, and obviously there's a lot of players on this current roster that were not here then. And so sort of educate them on the situation, and you carry on their legacy, and see all the white shirts today honoring the young men that passed way too soon.
For more on the UVA Strong Day, we send it to the 3rd member of our team, Ashley Stroller.
Well, Matt, you just mentioned how important it is to head coach Tony Elliott to make sure this team carries on the legacy of UVA Strong. And we had a chance to sit down and talk with him about it for quite some time. And he said his message to the team today on UVA Strong Day was, you may not have been here, but you wear Virginia on your chest. So it's really important to him to continue to honor their memory, keep it alive. And he says this is a responsibility that the team does embrace.
That's so well said.
Absolutely.
Ashley. Tony Elliott told us this week, maybe more than in any week, Dustin and Ashley, he put the onus on the players, the senior leaders who were here back in 2022, to lead this team and make sure everyone knows how important this game is.
Oh, there's no question. And that's a sign of culture. It's a sign of great leadership from any program. And you know, we had the chance yesterday afternoon to walk through their newly renovated facility and see the tribute to those young men, and it's so sad, but also special to keep their memory alive, and important to keep their memory alive.
Another 3 and out for the UVA defense. Kazim Moore with the quarterback pressure, and the punt unit returns to the field for William and Mary. Short punt off the foot of Carter Boyd, and not returnable for Cam Ross. Virginia's offense 2 for 2 on touchdown drives so far in this game. They'll try to do it again when we return on UVA Strong Day here in Charlottesville. Virginia starting quarterback Chandler Morris, son of former Power 4 head coach Chad Morris. His son originally committed to play at Arkansas for Chad. His father was let go, so he goes to Oklahoma, plays in 5 games, has 2 injury-riddled seasons at TCU. Then last year, an All-American Conference performance in a season in which he was finally healthy, Dustin, and they feel like they've got their guy running the controls on this high-powered offense this year.
It's so nice to see the young man be so resilient and really come up with a great year last year that allowed him to have this opportunity again to play at a P4 school. You know, interestingly enough, I was calling the TCU Colorado game back in 2022, the opener, and he was the starter. He gets injured in that game. Max Duggan comes in. We all know the rest is history. TCU goes on to play for the national championship. They lose to Michigan, and he just ends up kind of moving on, obviously, for obvious reasons, and ends up here now at Virginia. And the offense thus far this season has looked drastically different than the last couple of years.
Jamari Taylor on the carry makes it 3rd and short. Chandler Morris joked. He said, I don't think the way that today's transfer portal happens is sustainable long term, but it's worked out for me. Well, he found a home here at Virginia for his final season of college football, and he believes he's the guy that can play at the next level.
I think it would have to be extremely difficult, Matt, to go to multiple different programs, right, and play the quarterback position because it requires so much leadership. It's a nice stop there by the Tribe.
Well, their leader staying on the field here for 4th down. Your thoughts?
Well, they're in plus territory. William & Mary has not really been able to do anything offensively, and you've already converted once on 4th down. We know that they were 13 for 19 on 3rd downs last week. I think when it gets to the time where it's these vital downs, Tony Elliott has tons of confidence in this offense.
Morris on 4th and 4. Quick zip in and out of the hands of Ross, but there is a flag down, and we will wait to see from Garrett Dickerson what that is.
I think it's going to be a defensive hold right in the middle of the William & Mary defense.
Offense.
Oh, excuse me. Wow.
That penalty is declined. The result of the play is 1st down, William & Mary.
And the first real swing of momentum in this game, in which, as you mentioned, Virginia has dominated to this point on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, you can see the tug of the jersey right there, working against the defensive end. Dezenio, number 1. Ethan Sipe with the call, or gets the call. And that's a break for William & Mary because, Matt, you know, listen, if Virginia goes down there and scores and makes it 21-zip, you know, it's good night, Irene. However, they get a stop here. Now they have the ball near midfield with an opportunity here to maybe put some points on the board.
Carry goes to Rashad Raymond, and the transfer from UT Martin taken down by the Ohio State Buckeye national champ Mitchell Melton.
I do think that at some point here, William & Mary, now that they're approaching plus territory, needs to take some shots down the field. This is a revamped secondary for Virginia. They have 9 transfer defensive backs in that group, and they're still working through the kinks to try and find the best skill set for those guys.
Hughes on a design run, waiting for blockers, doesn't have any, and he is crunched at about the 45-yard line, bringing up 3rd and long.
You get to see the Cavalier defense, the blue jerseys just swarming to the football. Again, a nice job by Mitchell Melton, who loops around with the pressure. And how many jerseys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jerseys in the screen there, Matt, for the Cavaliers. It's good football.
Best 3rd down defense in the country. They've allowed just 2 conversions on 21 attempts. None today so far to William & Mary. 4-man rush. Hughes underneath and well defended by Marcellus Maddox.
And again, I mean, this 4th and 9, if it were 4th and 4 and you were a little bit closer to Virginia territory, I think you have a conversation about it. But here I think you definitely have to punt the ball away. He got away with the last shank punt Let's see if William & Mary can come back here with a better one.
Ross waved for the fair catch. That is zone 21. Well, next week, the ACC Huddle crew will be back in Miami, and they will get you ready for week 4 with a 2-hour pregame show. They'll have game previews along with expert analysis, featured stories, all right here on the ACC Network and the new ESPN app. That is certainly a big showdown in the state of Florida. But first, Miami's got another in-state showdown today. Dustin Fox against a surging USF Bulls team.
Alex Golish and the USF Bulls have got off to a red-hot start, trying to make some noise for the College Football Playoff Committee.
First carry of the game to Harrison Whaley, and the Wyoming transfer meets Luke Banbury.
Guess who? This guy's made every tackle, Matt. I'm dead serious. I mean, he's in on every stop so far through this first quarter. This young man is very impressive.
Third in the FCS right now in tackles. He's averaging 15 per game.
Now, he may be on pace for about 25 today.
Led the Ivy League last year at Cornell. 2nd and 7. Back to Whaley and cuts it upfield for a first down.
And add another tackle for Banbury.
Chunk plays though for this UVA offense.
Well, that's sort of the problem though. I mean, it's a good thing you got a linebacker making the tackles. The problem is he's having to make every tackle. There's no stops near the line of scrimmage.
There's a flip on the end around back to Courtney. Scored on one of those at the beginning of the quarter, and that may take us to the end of the first frame. $14-0 lead for Virginia, who scored on their opening 2 drives.
We've reached the end of the first quarter.
Welcome back to Charlottesville. After 1 quarter of play, the Cavaliers up 14-0. Coach London, what's the key for your team to stop the run?
Yeah, we got to make sure that they're out-tempoing us a little bit. We got to get lined up, make the calls, get guys in the right gaps, and we take care of ourselves. We had a good series one before here, but we got to make sure we're consistent with that.
How do you build off of that good series heading into the second?
Well, now you know the things that can work for us. We got to make sure that the guys that are subbing are going in and have the same kind of vibe and information. And just, you know what, just play hard. Don't get caught up in all the hoopla and things like that. Just settle down and play football.
All right, Coach, thanks.
Thank you.
Coach, thank you, Ashley. 2nd and 8 as we start the second quarter, and the carry goes to Xavier Brown. And another nice pickup for a Virginia team, Dustin, that ran the ball for 118 yards in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's pretty darn good for this Virginia offense. And, Matt, the goal for them every game is to run for over 200 yards. Well on their way thus far in the early portion of this game. 3rd and 3 here coming up. Probably going to give the ball back to Brown.
There he is. And he has enough for a first down. Well, certainly we saw something similar against a fellow ACC team last week. Had 514 total yards of offense against NC State. And if it weren't for that pick late, driving in the red zone with a minute to go, they might have won that game and be undefeated coming into week 3. Morris over the middle has his man Dakota Twitty for a first down, and he's tackled inside the 25.
Yeah, you can see how big Dakota Twitty is at that 6'5", 245 frame, and he's matched up with the corner on the outside. He does a really nice job. That was Jalen Jones in coverage.
Morris hits another man for a gain of 20+. It's Cameron Courtney, and goal to go again for the Hoos.
And this is where they go the tempo. Matt, when they get a big play, they get right to the line of scrimmage and try to go as fast as possible.
Caught the defense off guard. Brown takes advantage, plunging for the 3rd score of the game for Virginia. Bettridge makes it 21-zip. And the Cavaliers offense using the run game to open up the pass game.
Well over 125 yards rushing already in this ball game. Multiple touchdown runs, big plays. The offense is cooking. Left off right where they were a week ago. 21-zip from Charlottesville.
Welcome back to the beautiful grounds here in Charlottesville, Virginia. Founded by Thomas Jefferson, the great third president of these United States, an alum of William and Mary. As these teams meet on the gridiron for the 40th time, Virginia scoring on 3 of their 4 offensive drives so far. And as we take a look at Is It In You, brought to you by Gatorade, Dustin Fox, it has been all in the running game today for the Hoos.
It certainly is for the Hoos. This offense has been dynamic on the ground, and they've done it in a variety of ways. They've got the football in the hands of a wide receiver right there. That's Cameron Courtney for a touchdown on the end around. They come back. Jamari Taylor has his 6th touchdown of the year. And then what can Brown do for you? Well, how about another touchdown? 131 yards, almost 7.5 yards per carry. That will get the job done.
William and Mary's offense is yet to really get anything going. Hughes takes a shot as a wide open man going to the end zone. It's Thompson in a foot race, and William and Mary are on the board in the second quarter. 79 yards. Hughes with the dime to Thompson.
Well, Matt, I said this on their last drive. At some point, you have to test the secondary of Virginia. It's hard to tell exactly what coverage they were running. It looked like cover 2, and there was maybe some miscommunication, a bust in the back end there as Thompson's running over late. Goodness, you don't know how a receiver can get that wide open down the field. Thompson just does a great job. Yeah, you can see the corner there just kind of bailing out. That's Platt. And then over top, Christian Charles chasing down Thompson from behind.
You mentioned 9 transfers in the defensive backfield. Those are 2 of them. Maybe some miscommunication on what coverage they were really in there.
Yeah, it looked like Donovan Platt, the corner, bailed to a cloud look, which would be a cover 2, because he kind of settles in that zone in the flat. But then you expect to have over-the-top help. So not trying to blame somebody, an individual, without knowing exactly what the coverage was, but you said it, Matt. All those transfers, 9 transfers in the secondary alone.
Prior to that 79-yard touchdown, William and Mary had 8 positive yards in the game. Could this be a spark for the FCS program down the road here in the Commonwealth? Cam Ross will get a chance to return this. Back-to-back ACC Specialist of the Week, cutting it back, looking for room. Ross is finally tripped up in front of his own 30-yard line.
And you go back to the touchdown and you say, well, where's Thompson? Thompson's going to be top of your screen, and you essentially have your corner, your Platt's going to be playing like a cover 2, and you expect to have over top help here from your safety, of course, number 4, Christian Charles. You run the tape, and you just got a little bit late, eyes in the backfield, and you can see Christian Charles just late getting off the hash, and that leads to a pretty explosive play there for the Tribe.
Ensuing drive for Virginia. Morris on the run as John Rogers, who is getting more snaps today in place of Sage Ennis, not injured, just being held out for precautionary reasons after he went to the medical tent last week against NC State. Vaughn on the carry. Vaughn with room. There goes Vaughn out across the 50. And another explosive rush for this Cavaliers running back room.
Man, this is just too easy on the outside. Good job by Vaughn, though. He gets kind of lost in the wash, and then by the time William and Mary sees where he's at, we do have a flag.
10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Came in late.
All right, not so fast, my friend.
It's the second hold on Jack Whitmer. Rather, the second penalty today on Whitmer.
He's trying to get jersey on number 4. That's Luke Banbury.
Again, Whitmer starting at right tackle in the place of the injured Wallace Unamba. Whitmer was a 5-game starter last year. They go right back to Vaughn on that left side, and this gain a little bit less, but out near the sticks. And another 3rd and short for the Cavs offense.
Yeah, but it's not really a problem, Matt, when you consider you're running the football at about 7 yards per carry. You know, 3rd and 2, you're saying, okay, I don't care what running back's in the game. In this case, it's going to be Noah Vaughn. You just hand the ball off, and you're going to pick up 5, 6, 7 yards.
Vaughn again makes one man miss. There he goes. Vaughn tracked down inside the red zone. 55-yard run for the junior from Maryville, Tennessee.
Well, Banbury's made nearly every tackle today. This one is going to be a miss by number 4 right there in the hole. He's just kind of caught flat-footed, off balance. Vaughn puts a little move on him, and then he's off to the races. A really terrific job, though, by Jalen Jones, not giving up on the play, making the Cavaliers take another snap here in the red zone.
Now over 200 yards rushing in the first half for Virginia. And it's 1st and 10. Jamari Taylor back into the game at tailback. His carry on the left side. Harrison Johnson cutting him down after a gain of 5 or 6.
Matt, this is just turning into a physical duel where Virginia is just saying we're just going to pin our ears back and out physical you. And that's what they've done. They're not even asking Chandler Morris to do much in terms of the passing game. This is just bigger, stronger offensive linemen with push and running backs who are finding open lanes and showing a lot of versatility there in the backfield.
Vaughn cutting it left. Tackled short of the goal line near the sticks by Jaden Boring, the 3rd leading tackler on this team, and Vaughn is down after the play.
Injury timeout on the field.
Monster first half already for Vaughn, over 100 yards on the ground for the junior. We will step aside as he is tended to by the UVA training staff. 21-7 Hoos. Well, after rushing for over 100 yards in the first half, Noah Vaughn being helped off by this Virginia training staff, including their head trainer, Kelly Pugh, after this play, Dustin, where it looked like his legs just got caught up in the pile.
Yeah, it was difficult to see exactly what happened, but you've got a lot of players, a lot of bodies, and a William & Mary defender that appeared to fall on the leg of Vaughn right there. And of course, you want to take all the precautions you can, and we'll get you an update as soon as possible.
Ball inside the 5-yard line, 3rd and 1. And the Wyoming transfer Harrison Whaley comes in at tailback. And now Whaley shifting in the backfield with Morris. It goes right to Whaley. He will take it in for his 2nd touchdown in a Cavalier uniform.
Mr. Schumacher, I think they could have called you in for that one. I mean, goodness. Whaley comes off the bench. Direct snap. You hand it off to Whaley, and then you get a little flex with your teammates. But that's a young man who's going to get a lot of run this season as they get into ACC play. I was impressed with him and the job he did at Wyoming. Certainly before that, Northern Illinois was the leading rusher there all the way back in 2022.
Well, he's another young man similar to Chandler Morris, whose career has had high highs and low lows. Had the season-ending injury in 2021 at Northern Illinois, came back in 22, led them in rushing, as you said. Then in 23 at Wyoming, he was a top 25 rusher, Dustin, at the FBS level.
Right.
Comes back in 2024, has a season-ending knee injury, and now in his final season of eligibility, healthy and bolstering this deep Virginia running back room. 3 different backs have scored touchdowns already in the first half.
Matt, during his time with Northern Illinois there in DeKalb, he ran for nearly 2,000 yards. I mean, it's a kid who's certainly got a lot of experience in that backfield. We know how it goes. I mean, you just saw one of their top backs go down. We don't know how long he's going to be out for, if it's going to be just today or he comes back or he's out for the year. You never know. It's a position that certainly it's a physical job, right? And to have multiple weapons back there is certainly going to help once you get into conference play.
I feel like we've said the word transfer a lot today when it comes to Virginia. They have 32, the most in program history by far. But as Coach Elliott was quick to point out, we also have a bunch of freshmen who are in their first season of college football.
It's just such an interesting era that we're in with college football. You said transfer is kind of that buzzword with portal and NIL and things like this. When you talk about freshmen, it's hard to even think about their future because it's such a year-to-year deal now. It's like the National Football League, but every year you have free agency with these guys. I kind of agree with Chandler Morris, who said this is probably not sustainable.
Hughes taking another shot. He was looking for Devin Thompson, who had that 79-yard touchdown catch last time out. Emmanuel Carnley in coverage.
Well, I like that William & Mary goes right back to it to test the secondary of Virginia. They had a bit of a bust on the last possession that led to a long touchdown reception right there by Thompson, and they come right back to him again. This time the ball just overthrown just a little bit.
Option on 2nd and 10. Hughes is bottled up by Daniel Rickert, the Tennessee Tech transfer who led his team in sacks a year ago. And another 3rd down behind the chains for this William & Mary offense against a vicious 3rd down defense in Virginia.
It's hard to say what do you dial up here on 3rd and 7 if you're William & Mary. You almost have to just you throw it down the field and hope one of your guys makes a play.
Hughes under pressure, escapes. Now using his legs. And Hughes gets close to the marker. Do you think about it here, Dustin?
You do. I think you have to go for this one. You've really shown an inability to stop Virginia's offense. And you have to give your defense a break here, Matt. Your defense has been on the field the entire day. We just put up the stats, all the 3 and outs, all the. I mean, they're only even their touchdown drive was 1 play.
Yeah.
That doesn't give your defense a lot of rest.
4th and 1 for Mike London's team. A must-have situation for William and Mary. It goes to the ground, and it is stopped by the Cavaliers defense. The 4th-year starter, Jameer Carter, at the point of attack. And it's a turnover on downs.
It's just a tough job here for William and Mary. I mean, the call is designed to go up the middle, and that is the teeth of the Virginia defensive line. I would have preferred to see something on the outside with Hughes to allow him the ability to take off and go. Nonetheless, big stop, turnover and downs. Cavalier ball when we come back.
Welcome back to Scott Stadium in Charlottesville, Virginia. Off the 4th down stop by the Hoos defense. Their offense back on the field, having scored on 4 of their first 5 offensive drives in this half. Beginning this drive in plus territory. Fake the sweep. Morris, shot over the middle, hits John Rogers inside the 10 with another chunk play.
And John Rogers has been very active in this ball game, getting a little bit more run with Sage Ennis out today. Big-bodied kid.
There's Xavier Brown. He is strung out by Harrison Johnson. That completion, the 5th play of 20 yards or more in this first half for Virginia.
And there's the throw and catch over to Rogers.
Their offense has been perfect in goal-to-goal situations this year. They've scored on all 7 of those opportunities now in the middle of week 3. Second and goal. Morris, end zone, and there was some contact there for Cam Ross. No flags in the end zone.
Yeah, I think it was Ratliff there who was in the mix, number 8. There was a little bit of contact. I think he had a little jersey as he's coming across the formation. 6 Ross right there. Yeah, a big time tug right there. And I'm surprised there's not a call, and that's coming from a former defensive back. I'll tell you one thing, they're calling that on Fox all day.
Most penalized DB in Ohio State history.
I have to be.
Hey, at least you got a national championship ring to go along with all those flags.
Thanks, partner.
You got it. Third and goal. Morris wide open to Brown, and he trips up in front of the goal line. Surely Virginia will keep the offense on the field here.
Ethan Yip, 14, slips. And that's why he's so wide open in the flat. And then, of course, he hits a little bit of a turf monster. I'll tell you what, they're going to go for this, Matt. If somehow William and Mary gets a stop, this would be a big boost on that sideline.
Fake it to Brown. Morris, end zone, finds Rogers for a touchdown. The first passing touchdown of the day, and it's 34-7 Hoos.
William and Mary ends up running man coverage down here. It's a tight area inside the 5-yard line. And Virginia just runs crossers from both sides. And Chandler Morris has all day to throw. Great protection up front. He's just trying to wait until somebody comes open. And it was Rogers out the gate on the backside.
First career touchdown for John Rogers.
Rogers is going to come all the way across. Kind of release. Excuse me. He released late from his side, but you had a crosser coming behind, and that's how he ends up so open. A little bit of confusion there in the back end. It's been all Cavalier to this point. Look at that. Just look at the total plays, Matt. 44 for Virginia to just 14 for the Tribe. Man, little different than 09.
And 2023, in which William and Mary was up by 10 midway through the second quarter in that game. But again, both coaches sort of mentioned this in different ways. Virginia looks different this year. The weapons in the backfield, the weapons at wide receiver, and of course, Chandler Morris. All the games he's played at this level, Dustin, they just have a different edge to them this year. And for more on John Rogers and his first career touchdown, Ashley.
Yeah, I'm over here behind the Cavaliers bench, and I can tell you, as he made his way to sit down with his group, every player that could get a chance to speak to him did. They were so excited for him, hyping him up. Everyone wanted a chance to congratulate him on that first career touchdown, and that is really just the vibe over here for UVA right now. They're feeling pretty great about that 35-7 lead and getting different members of their offense involved.
Well, he's one of the few underclassmen, Ashley, who's getting significant reps today. You think about all the 6- and 7-year guys on this roster. 19, which leads all of Division I football. Devin Thompson on the reception. Second and short upcoming for William and Mary.
Matt, do you know where Edward Waters is located?
Division II school that Devin Thompson went to. I don't know where it's located, though.
I was sorry to put you on the spot there, partner, but Devin Thompson, my point is, He played at a very small school and is here now at William & Mary, and he looks like he belongs in this environment with UVA. They've taken multiple opportunities to get the football to him.
Hughes looked his way first and then is stripped by Rickard, and he takes it to the house. Touchdown, UVA.
Boy, it seemed like they were going to blow a whistle as Tyler Hughes was held up there.
The ruling on the field is forward progress was stopped prior to the fumble. Third down, William & Mary.
Guess I wasn't the only one.
Tyler Hughes catches a break there because Rickard had his paw on the football. And he was thinking 6.
Let's see. I mean, at this point, yeah, I don't know. I think right there at the end, you're definitely in the grasp, and you call that dead. I tend to agree with the officials on that one.
Defensive guy going against the defensive touchdown.
I love the effort by Rickard. He almost makes a play there too.
Hughes bottled up again, and the punt unit will have to come out for William & Mary, you would think, given where they are on the field. And in fact, Mike London will send his punt unit out. Well, certainly we've seen better tackling today from Virginia's defense, which was the big thing they focused on this week, Dustin, after the loss to North Carolina State, giving up over 400 yards to the Wolfpack.
Had a fun conversation yesterday afternoon with defensive coordinator John Rudzinski, who has all of his Air Force ties, and he played with one of my old college teammates, Anthony Schlegel, and we were having some fun talking about that. But the point in saying that is, he says discipline and fundamentals is something that they have to pride themselves in, and what they really needed to get back to in terms of having success on defense. And the biggest thing, Matt, especially with those 9 transfers in the back end, they have to pride themselves, Matt, with communication in stressful situations. And that is something that they're learning and trying to do a little bit of a better job at. You saw a little miscommunication on the one long touchdown bust, but overall, thus far in this game, they played well, and I think we've got a new quarterback.
Daniel Kalin, the sophomore from Nebraska. Flips it. And an opportunity here for a big gain. Virginia taken down inside the 25. Zadarian Harrison on the end around, and it's a 47-yard gain for the Hoos.
Boy, at this point, I think Virginia can do anything. They've worn out William & Mary. They've been on the field the entire day. I mean, we're looking at an offense that's already run 46 plays, roughly. Good job holding on to the ball there late.
And the ground game has been elite for this team. Over 210 yards rushing. And Harrison Whaley adds to it with a near first down carry. Picks up 9. Back to Whaley. First down carry. There is a penalty marker on the back end of that play. We'll wait to hear from Garrett Dickerson here.
Illegal substitution. Defense. More than 11 players on the field to snap. That penalty is declined. First down.
First and goal, Virginia. At the 9-yard line.
Daniel Kalin figures to be the future at quarterback here at Virginia. Still with 3 years of eligibility and getting some quality experience at the end of this first half rather.
Back to Whaley. He's getting a little bit of run here in the second quarter. I'll be curious to see how much they allowed Daniel Kalin to throw the football here, especially in the second half, assuming that they're going to go back with him. This guy, former top 30 quarterback coming out of high school. Pretty highly touted kid out of Nebraska.
Whaley barrels ahead for a touchdown. His second of the day.
Injury timeout on the field.
And there is a William and Mary player down. Jaden Ratliff, their starting safety.
Zone blocking, I mean, not much resistance there.
Well, Harrison Whaley figures to be a big part of this offense, and in fact, his offensive coordinator Des Kitchens told us it was on us as a staff that he didn't touch the football last week in the loss to NC State. That will not happen going forward, and today, Dustin, he's responded with 2 touchdown carries, all in the first half.
Well, they may end up needing a lot more of him as they go throughout the rest of the season, depending on the status of Noah Vaughn, who did leave the game on a cart earlier in this half.
We will step aside for the 2-minute break at the end of the first half. It has been all UVA on the ground, 234 yards rushing and 5 running touchdowns. It's a party here in Charlottesville. Everybody getting involved in the action, including this student who just caught a pass from the jug machine at midfield.
Was it a pass or was it a punt?
Punt.
Okay.
Or a high arcing
You got to be
pass.
accurate. I want to know what the young man was awarded for that.
Well, accuracy has not been an issue for this Virginia offense today, which has been nearly unstoppable. They've scored on all but one drive so far in the first half, and they are kicking off again.
That was a professional transition, Matt.
With a 42-7 lead, partner. We talked a lot in the open about all their stars and weapons offensively. Chandler Morris, Noah Vaughn, exceptional in the first half.
He was great. Unfortunately, he's now on the sidelines with an injury, so we'll have to wait and hear back on him. Hopefully he's going to be okay. But Morris, they didn't ask him to do much, but when they did put the football in the air, he was accurate. Did throw the one touchdown, and now he gets to throw on the visor.
By the way, that young man who just caught the ball from the jug machine,
yes.
$4,000 in his pocket.
Straight cash, homie.
Noah Brannick, now the new quarterback for William & Mary.
What do you think's tougher, catching the punt from the jugs machine or kicking the field goal on game day?
Got to be the game day field goal.
100%.
That field is so narrow, you're cramped and maybe a little bit claustrophobic.
Just from a pressure standpoint.
Well, plus you're on national TV.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Noah Brannick, by the way, has not thrown a pass in his collegiate career to this point. The sophomore from Forest Hill, Maryland. Back up to Tyler Hughes. Will we see him put one in the air here at the end of the first half? If you're Virginia in the second half, Justin, with a 42-7 lead, you're starting to get your backups in.
Virginia has used their first timeout of the half, 30-second timeout.
What specific goals are you looking to accomplish, knowing that the game is likely in hand here?
Well, obviously you want to see some depth from your roster. There's a lot of new faces. You've got a very, I would say, a veteran roster, but they're not all guys who have been here. You've got a ton of 6th and 7th year guys, but a lot of them are transfer players. And you want to see some young guys get in there and know what the heck they're doing. You know, you want to see players play hard. You're not going to ask them to do a lot. It's going to be more vanilla, but it's an opportunity. Put something on tape.
Well, after the timeout by Virginia, 3rd and 4.
Virginia wants to get the ball back. Looking to add more.
Pressure off the edge. Down goes Brannick on a sack by this Virginia defense led by the Ohio State transfer Mitchell Melton.
And timeout called again.
30-second timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
We're looking to extend this 35-point lead here in the first half. So we'll bring on the punt unit. And maybe an opportunity here, Matt, too, when you think about from Virginia's standpoint, they've got to figure out what they have at kicker and put them in a position to, you know, maybe kick a 47-yarder again.
Cam Ross with a lane. Watch out. Out across midfield. There is a flag down right near the UVA feed at the 50-yard line.
So this will, I'm guessing, back them up. But you'll have an opportunity to see Daniel Kalen in a 2-minute offense. Just the one timeout remaining, though.
Holding, receiving team, number 33, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So the goal here for UVA on this drive with the one timeout, they know they can run tempo, but you're going to see tempo with the backup quarterback and trying to get themselves really inside that 35-yard line of William & Mary and have a chance to bring out your kicker, Bettridge.
Kalen underneath. He was looking for Josiah Abdullah and incomplete. Now for Kalen, coaching staff told us the intention all year was to get him reps. They believe that he is the future at quarterback at Virginia, has all the intangibles and tangibles that they feel like could make a 2 to 3 year starter once Chandler Morris has exhausted his eligibility. getting an opportunity here late in the first half. That is a completed pass out near the first down to Isaiah Robinson. Brings up 3rd and short, and Virginia will burn its final timeout. Well, tonight, after our 10:30 Eastern Pacific game between Boston College and Stanford, the ACC Huddle final score will wrap up the whole day. Highlights, analysis, interviews with players and coaches, and they'll have you covered right here on the ACC Network and the all-new ESPN app. Will Bettridge getting ready, perhaps, for a long field goal to end the first half. Missed from 47 against North Carolina State.
So here on 3rd and 2, Matt, you just burned your last timeout. You can run the ball. You can work the middle of the field here. You're fine. It's 3rd and 2. I wouldn't be surprised if UVA runs the ball here. They immediately get to the line of scrimmage. They spike it and then start the drive basically there, 2nd and 10. Continue the drive, I should say, and try to get yourself in field goal range.
Xavier Brown in the backfield. A keeper for Kalen, and he stumbles ahead for the first down. Tackled by Jordan McDonald. Hurry up offense here for the Hoos.
If they don't spike it, they called 2 plays in that huddle during the timeout. Well, John Rogers wasn't set. And that's just probably a little lack of experience, getting some playing time in the 2-minute offense, trying to get set. Be a runoff here too, I believe, Matt. No timeouts remaining for Virginia.
Officiating crew getting together on this. You mentioned that Rogers was not quite set when the ball was snapped to Kalen, already with his first career touchdown today.
False start. Offense. All 11 players weren't set at the snap. This foul includes a 10-second subtraction. After a reset to 34 seconds, the 10-second subtraction will be 24 seconds, and the clock will start on the ready for play signal.
First and 15, and the clock running.
False start again.
Another pre-snap penalty. That was on the right side of the offensive line.
Well, you're seeing exactly why Virginia and Tony Elliott want to see these young players in these situations, right? I mean, you're seeing false starts, you're seeing guys not set. These are all things that...
False start, offense, 5-yard penalty. This foul also includes a 10-second subtraction. Reset the clock to 23 seconds with the 10-second subtraction. It'll be 13 seconds on the clock. The game clock will start on the ready for play signal.
So now we're down to 13 seconds. Kalen hit as he threw, and there was maybe a tangle up there between Robinson and one of the defenders for William and Mary. Incomplete.
There was on the outside. It was a double move, Matt, and I like the call from Virginia. They're just trying to take a shot down the field. The contact came from the defensive back, the corner there, 14, Ethan Yip. You can see top of your screen right here. There's going to be a double move where he's going to go like this, and bam, the contact's there, but the ball's not in the air yet, so there's going to be no foul.
They go to the ground and the first half. Xavier Brown pushing the pile, and what a dominant first half it was on the ground. 240 yards rushing for Virginia. And a 42-7 lead for the home team, who was able to work in their backup quarterback Daniel Kalen after a 13-for-19 start for Chandler Morris. 5 rushing touchdowns in the first half by 4 different Hoos players. Couldn't have asked for a better starter for Tony Elliott, who is standing by with Ashley Stroline.
Well, Coach Elliott, what has allowed your offense, specifically the run game, to be so successful in this first half?
Guys just doing their job, and that's what we talked about this week. We wanted to come back and get better. We knew where they were going to be, so neither team was going to try and trick each other. It was just line up and who was going to execute at a higher level.
All right, Coach, thanks. Best of luck second half.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Let's send it now to studio with Taylor, Emac, Eddie, and Jimbo in Atlanta, where the fans at Georgia Tech are enjoying a good first half.
Yeah.
You're watching the ACC on ESPN. A gorgeous day on the grounds in Charlottesville, Virginia, and a near perfect first half for the Cavaliers offense, scoring on all but one drive. They lead it 42-7. Matt Schumacher, Dustin Fox with you as we take a look at today's Good Hands plays brought to you by Allstate.
Well, the Good Hands plays will be all running plays by this Cavaliers offense. In that first half alone, they rushed, Matt, for 243 yards on the ground. Right there, Noah Vaughn. Boy, 6 that foot in the ground. Great move all the way down the field, and then it's capped off by Whaley. Touchdown. Boy, this offense has been dynamic. They haven't done many things that haven't had success, Matt, in this first half. As you can see, the tail of the tape right there, that tells the story.
By the way, Ashley Stroline, our sideline reporter this afternoon, did get an update on Noah Vaughn, who exited the game in the second quarter. He is out for the rest of the day with a lower body injury. Sustained one play after the longest run of his career, 54 yards. We hope for the best for Vaughn, as William and Mary will receive the second half kickoff. Well, a big day on the ACC network continues after us. Bill Belichick, North Carolina, they host Richmond at 3:30 after their first win of the season against Charlotte. Old Dominion at Virginia Tech. That one always seems to be a very intriguing matchup for the Hokies. And then Stanford and Boston College finishes off with an in-conference showdown.
The Monarchs tend to give the Hokies trouble every time they play. It's another proximity sort of rivalry, I guess you could say, to some degree, because those games have been tight, especially over the last several years.
Well, we saw backup quarterbacks enter the game at the end of the first half for both teams, and it will be the backup for William and Mary, Noah Brannick, starting the second half. He will keep on the option. And is hit out of bounds after a gain of 4.
There was a big time hit here on the sideline right as Brannick's going out of bounds, kind of gets wrapped up, taken to the ground.
Montino Williams.
Yeah, the freshman getting a little action here today. His second tackle of the year.
Brannick with a long completion, second longest of the day. It goes to the track star Armon Wright, who broke the freshman triple jump record last year at William and Mary, going 50 feet 6 1/4 inches.
That's out there.
He had a wind-aided one that was even further than was top 15 in the East region.
Did you ever triple jump in high school or college, Matt?
Absolutely not. I thought that looks like I could break my leg if I tried that.
A skip, hop, and a jump?
Really athletic event.
It wasn't a sanctioned event for us in the state of Ohio. I was a long jumper, but I did triple jump at one event and one invitational. Won it.
Of course you did. Steady.
Very steady. That's what they said.
Well, he was also a long jumper last year and was 4th at the CAA Outdoor Championships.
Got a mark on that?
I believe it was 24 feet and change.
That's excellent. Further than my furthest jump.
2nd and 8. Goes underneath to Isaiah Lamont, and he has a first down and more. Breaking tackles inside the 40, and a gain of 19 for the former VMI star.
Now, Lamont looked like a running back there after he caught the football. It took multiple Cavalier defenders to get him on the ground, bouncing off of him.
Keeper Brannick breaking tackles out near another first down, just short. They already have 2 first downs on this drive. They had 1 in the first half.
Kind of looks like a completely different offense to this point. Easily the most effective drive they've had, considering the only touchdown drive they've had was 1 play for 79 yards.
Which was also the lone first down they had in the first half.
Great point.
2nd and 1 for Brannick. Might he be auditioning here in the second half? On the ground, Tariq Sims stretching it for a first down, but a flag comes in late behind the line of scrimmage.
Holding, offense, number 66, 10-yard penalty, second down.
Well, for Mike London, a man who has coached championship caliber football, won a national championship at the FCS level at his alma mater, Richmond, trying to bring a championship to William and Mary, a proud program that 11 times has been to the FCS playoffs. What do you think's going through his mind here in the second half, Dustin? Like, what's he trying to accomplish here given the score?
Well, they've got a tough schedule ahead as well, as they have Charleston Southern on deck. As that one's going to go incomplete, out of bounds. But Matt, they're trying to just get through this game healthy at this point. It's a 42-7 ball game. You've already got your backup quarterback in the game. You know UVA's got their backup quarterback in the game. You're not really brother-in-law in it in terms of like trying to just get through the rest of the game, because you are working on things. However, talking about a team, the FCS level, they don't have the depth that UVA has.
Right.
And so they can't afford to have injuries along the way, because their conference schedule is a challenging one, as it will be their last year in the CAA. And they'd like to go out on top and certainly like to make a run for the playoffs there at the FCS level.
3rd and 11. Brannick takes a shot, has a wide open Lamond. Touchdown is dropped in the end zone. In and out of his fingertips on a dime by Brannick.
Boy, that hit him in a bad spot, huh? Right in the breadbasket. Beautiful throw. You know, sometimes the easiest ones are the hardest ones. I've been there before. On the defensive side, a couple times I've dropped interceptions that were right through my hands.
Boy, what a pretty ball by Noah Brannick. Carter Boyd punts this away, and it will be downed inside the 5.
Jeez, that's a tough pill to swallow if you're a fan of the tribe.
So Mike London's defense, which spent a lot of time on the field in the first half, will come out with an opportunity, though. Offense pinned back inside its own 5.
Gotta say, partner, that was a tremendous transition by you, because it was a touchdown call that you just didn't even flinch when he dropped it. You're like, and it's a touchdown dropped. It's well done, man.
I feel for the young man.
Yeah,
because
I do
Isaiah
too.
Lamond is one of their stars.
Absolutely.
Here's Harrison Whaley. Watch out. Whaley in a track meet. 30, 20, touchdown, 97 yards. A hat trick for Harrison Whaley. 3rd rushing touchdown of the day for the Wyoming transfer.
Boy, is that the quickest 14-point swing you've ever seen?
Yes.
Should be William & Mary kicking off 14 or 42-14, and now it's going to be 49-7 here after this PAT pending. Boy, Harrison Whaley. You said it, partner. The hat trick. Sudden change. That's a school record. 97-yard touchdown run for Harrison Whaley. 49-7. Cavaliers.
Harrison Whaley breaks Michael Simpson's record of 96 yards, going to the house on a 97-yard touchdown run. And the Wyoming transfer last year, after he got injured, had really no designs on transferring. Had a great relationship with Wyoming head coach Jay Sauvel, Dustin, and because he wasn't able to return last year, got that red shirt.
Yeah, but think about it. I mean, it was the 4th game. So he just fell in that window to be able to salvage that final year as a grad transfer here to come to UVA. And what's crazy about that is forever he'll be in the record books now.
At Virginia.
At Virginia with that run.
By the way, he's in the record books at his previous 2 FBS schools. Was the leading rusher at NIU, then Wyoming. And this year figures to be a big part of this 4-headed running back attack. Assuming Noah Vaughn's able to get healthy. Again, he left in the first half having rushed for over 100 yards, exiting with a lower body injury.
He did have that 75-yard run against Texas at Wyoming, so he's no stranger to big-time plays.
There's home run threats all over the field for Virginia. And again, that was the theme that everybody around the program, particularly offensively, talked about this year. Most weapons that Des Kitchings has felt like he's had in his tenure as the offensive coordinator, and head coach Tony Elliott echoed those sentiments yesterday in our meeting with the Cavaliers staff. 2nd and 10 here for Noah Brannick. Carry goes to Rashad Raymond and makes it 3rd and manageable. Best 3rd down defense in the country. Number of 2nd and 3rd stringers in there right now, trying to carry on that theme on a 3rd and 4 with 10:50 to go in the 3rd quarter. Dumped underneath to Raymond, and he will be stopped short. Anthony Britton was in there with the tackle and brings up 4th and 3, and the punt unit will come out for William and Mary. Virginia has made a stop on 29 of 31 opponent 3rd down attempts. Doesn't get much better than that.
It does not. This has been the perfect script to a victory for Virginia. Obviously, they're playing a level of competition that's below where they're at, but certainly better than the alternative.
Well, looking ahead, a couple of blue bloods in the women's soccer ranks. Top 20 showdown between Florida State and North Carolina in Chapel Hill, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the ACC Network. Last drive for the Virginia offense started at their own 3, went 1 play for 97 yards. It's Daniel Kalen running the controls, the sophomore from Nebraska. On the boot, delivers a strike in and out of the hands of his intended wide receiver, Hayden Rollison.
Seen a lot of different tight ends getting some action here today for UVA.
Davis Lane Jr. now into the backfield for UVA. Wrapped up just across his own 20. That's so interesting. You talked, Dustin, about Daniel Kalen's accolades coming out of high school. Was second-ranked player in the state of Nebraska, chose to stay home, play for the flagship program, but behind the depth chart.
Dylan Raiola was starting quarterback, right? We know that.
As a freshman.
Yes. also another highly recruited player.
So the writing's maybe on the wall, take his talents somewhere else where he can grow into a starting role eventually, and that is the goal of this coaching staff for Daniel Kaelin, learning behind a 4-year starter in Chandler Morris. Kaelin has that pass caught by Cameron Courtney, climbing the ladder for a first down.
Boy, that was such an athletic play by Cameron Courtney, who already has a touchdown run on the day early in the first quarter. Goes up high to get that ball. It was delivered with pace as well.
Floated down the sideline. It's Courtney again, wide open. 3 chunk plays to Cameron Courtney, the sophomore, in this game, 2 of which on this drive.
There's a nice little connection there with Cameron Courtney and Daniel Kaelin, both just sophomores here in this Virginia offense.
Cameron Courtney, nearly 100 all-purpose yards in this game. Kaelin, another deep shot, has it caught inside the 15 by Tylyric Coleman.
Jones is down.
William and Mary player is down. Jalen Jones, their preseason All-American corner. And we will take the timeout with them. Virginia driving behind their backup quarterback, Daniel Kaelin. ESPN supports the College Football Playoff Foundation's Extra Yard for Teachers Week each year to celebrate the great teachers across our nation who have inspired so many of us. You can nominate a great teacher in your community by visiting cfpfoundation.org. And for more, we send it to Ashley Stroline.
Well, Keenan Carter is the defensive line coach for William and Mary, and his wife, Jenny Carter, is in her first year as an assistant principal at Burbank Elementary School in Hampton, Virginia. Jenny was an elementary school teacher for 18 years before becoming an assistant principal. So we thank her for her service to the school system.
That's great stuff. Thank you, Ashley. First down and 10 for the Virginia Cavaliers, driving behind their backup quarterback, Daniel Kaelin. Looking end zone. And lots of contact there, no flags, and it brings up second down.
Ethan Yip had nice coverage there to bat that ball away at the last moment. Thin margin of error there, working the back of the sideline in the corner of the end zone. That was a well-thrown football.
There's Davis Lane Jr. Third and medium upcoming.
See if Davis Lane Jr. maybe gets a little taste of the end zone down here.
Fake the toss. Kalen. That was almost an incredible play as he was falling to the turf, missing to Tyler Coleman.
Yeah, that was an incredible effort there by Daniel Kalen. He escapes the pocket, steps up, is going down, and just somehow at the last moment, the pressure there was Jordan McDonald, 12, but finds Coleman, and that frankly probably should have been caught.
Joe Burrow-esque.
Yeah, it was.
By Kalen.
It was.
24-yard field goal attempt here for Will Bettridge, the third-year starter for Virginia. And he knocks it right through. 52-7, Virginia. Well, we've got some other teachers we'd like to honor this afternoon, Dustin Fox. Joan Boyd, 29 years teaching special education, and the mother of our sideline reporter Ashley, Audrey Stroline, has taught for 48 years, serving the special needs community in Buchanan County, Virginia. Congratulations, Audrey, on what has already been an incredible career. Ashley, your thoughts on your mom's career as a special ed teacher?
She is proud of her mama, I know that much.
You guys are right. I'm very proud of my mom for her 48 years teaching special education at Council High School and elementary school. I hear about her students every day. I know it brings her so much joy. She is so proud of them and all they go on to accomplish, and I am so proud of her. And she was so inspirational to me that at one point in my career, I was a high school math teacher for 4 years.
Okay, I need more details on that. Was it algebra? Was it calculus?
You get a little bit of everything in high school math. We can do algebra, calculus, geometry, trigonometry. I can quiz you right now if you need me to.
Well,
please do. Please, not me, but Matt.
You just brought up the IQ of this crew by a substantial amount, Ashley, because Dustin and I were not the best math scholars.
No. In fact, I was taking remedial math at Ohio State.
I just had really great math teachers. Actually, if you want the truth here, my uncle, Dave, was my math teacher. So I actually come from a family of educators. All in the family. My late Uncle Wayne was a history teacher as well. So I had to do my family justice to at least be a part of the school system for a little bit. Also coached JV basketball and track.
Oh, you can do it all.
Jack of all trades.
How much longer is Mom teaching?
Well, at this point, she's got to make it to 50.
That's what
right?
I'm thinking.
We're letting her know right now. We expect the big 5-0, so she can't quit just yet.
Absolutely. That's
no
incredible.
more retirement presents, though. I had to stop a few years ago.
That's such a great story.
Thanks, guys.
Man, almost 50 years teaching.
Yeah, man, that is dedication to our youth.
No doubt. 2nd and 10 here for William and Mary. It is Hughes back into the game. I beg your pardon. Brannick, their backup, remains on the field and makes it 3rd and short.
Last year in the CAA for William and Mary, Matt, as they're going to be joining the Patriot league next year.
Villanova also leaving the CAA to join the Patriot League, a highly competitive FCS conference. 3rd and 2. Carey is stuffed 1 yard short. Boy, this Virginia defense on 3rd down has been something special all season, regardless of the opponent. We saw it last week against NC State, and now they force another punt.
On 4th and 1, Carter Boyd in punt formation for William and Mary.
Eighth punt of the game for the Tribe. It is Jaden Thomas, the Notre Dame transfer, slipping out of a tackle, and 3 flags on the ground after that return.
There are penalty markers on the field.
Equipment violation, participating without a helmet. Kicking team, number 14. Also, during the return, holding receiving team, number 34. Those penalties offset. Replay, 4th down.
Someone's being a tough guy. I'm kidding. Participation without a helmet, Matt. I'm not tough enough for that.
Not in today's era.
No. Once that helmet comes off, you gotta stop playing. And he got back involved, at least tried to get back involved. That seems to be a little bit ticky-tack there late. But letter of the law, it is a foul.
So we'll re-kick it here.
It's kind of surprised they're punting this on 4th and 1.
On the other hand, if you give it to Virginia, despite all the backups in the game, with such a short field, the result sort of seems in hand.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the result's already in hand if they get the ball
Sure.
at their own 25.
Yeah.
Based off the performance we've seen so far.
Point well taken.
Thanks, partner.
This Virginia defense, though, we've talked a lot about their offense. The defense has been spectacular, giving up just the 1 first half first down, a 79-yard busted coverage touchdown to William and Mary. Jaden Thomas, the fair catch. We'll go to break. 52-7 on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon in Charlottesville. The corner is buzzing this afternoon. Well, certainly Clemson, a team this year that many thought would be a contender in the college football playoff landscape. They have got their hands full this afternoon in Atlanta. It's a one-point game in the third quarter over on ESPN. Miami and Florida State both start the season 2-0. Miami's got a big test tonight against South Florida. And then NC State with a comeback win, Dustin, on Thursday night against Wake Forest. Boy, have they looked good to start the year.
Yeah, they certainly have. Both games, Wake Forest and Virginia, they were trailing by double digits and come back to win. You know, that was a really nice performance by the Wolfpack on Thursday night, especially in the second half. Their defense just locked down Wake Forest.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you're sounding every alarm possible in the Death Valley in South Carolina, 1 being you're not concerned at all, where do you fall with what we've seen so far from Clemson this year, regardless of the result today?
Well, I mean, obviously they've been a little inconsistent at the quarterback position, a position where they feel, or at least they felt going into the year, pretty strong about Cade Klubnik. Really good athlete. I think he's got to do a better job taking care of the football. By the way, they do have the lead now in Atlanta, 14-13. But at this point, with the loss to LSU early in the year, I mean, you almost feel like every single week's a playoff game for the Tigers, which is obviously why this game today against a very talented Georgia Tech squad has become so vital. And I'm sure the Clemson faithful out there watching their Tigers today. Interception. What a pick there by William and Mary.
Trayvon Cannon, the true freshman, with the interception, and now William and Mary's defense has a turnover in 13 straight games dating back to the end of last season.
And this one just airmailed a little bit, tipped, and then right in the hands. Stephon Hicks, the one who gets the fingertip on the football.
Well, you make a great point, Dustin, about every week feeling playoff-esque for Clemson the rest of the way. And when you look at their schedule, it's quite favorable for the Tigers in terms of level of competition. They do have that potential top 20 matchup looming November 8th with Florida State. And then, of course, South Carolina at the end of the year. And South Carolina's got a big one today on the road at Vanderbilt. But you could look at that one of two ways. On the one hand, there's only a couple ranked matchups left, so you feel good about your chances if you're a Clemson fan. On the other hand, you can ill afford to lose one of those games, right, if you're a Tigers fan?
No question. And listen, that is sort of, you know, why you've got to win those early games. You know, they had the early kickoff against LSU August 30th. They fall short 17-10 in that ball game, tight ball game against the Tigers. And then you go take care of business at Troy. But now you got this game today, which is so tricky against Georgia Tech. I love what's been going on there in Atlanta with the Yellow Jackets.
What a catch on a deep pass by Noah Brannick, connecting with Alfred Honesty.
You ain't lying.
38 yards with 2 defenders draped all over him.
I can get my pun.
I did. First and 10. Keeper for Brannick. Oh, hurdles a man at the 5-yard line and then goes out of bounds, tumbling near the first down marker. How about that athleticism by the backup quarterback for William and Mary?
Phenomenal athleticism. Always get a little nervous watching quarterbacks or running backs hurdle defenders. Emmanuel Carnley probably opened his eyes and realized, yeah, he jumped over me. I only know he probably closed his eyes because I've been in that position several times. Matt, that end of the year matchup with Clemson at South Carolina.
Massive.
Massive. And that's one of those that you got to think that let's play hypothetical here and say Georgia Tech wins today. Then if you're Clemson, you 1,000% have to win out.
Yeah.
And then you have to be impressive and win that South Carolina game the final week of the season to then put that performance in the minds of the committee.
Brannick dancing away from trouble. Now across the formation, has a clear lane to the end zone. Noah Brannick, dazzling with his athleticism on this drive, puts in the second score of the game for the Tribe.
It's a good job by the quarterback there. I mean, shows a lot of athleticism, and gotta say, Matt, to this point, I know that there's some backups in there for Virginia at this point in the game, but the offense looks to be a little bit more efficient with him in there running the show.
First career touchdown for the sophomore from Forest Hill, Maryland.
I promise you this much. I mean, he's never thrown a college pass coming into this game.
Correct.
You better believe that Mike London and Winston October, the offensive coordinator there for William & Mary, are going to be looking at this tape saying, boy, that kid's got something. And not to, you know, go too into the weeds here with this, but, you know, wide open touchdown dropped. He put that on the board. You're at 21. And because of that drop touchdown, the ensuing play, the very next play went 97 yards. For a touchdown, which was a 14-point swing. My point in saying it's 52-14. This game's been played within about 21 points.
Sure.
Especially here in the second half. But again, William & Mary, they're not playing against the starters, and of course Virginia, they could have left Chandler Morris in the game. All these things could have been different. I'm just saying I've been impressed with this young man at the quarterback position for the Tribe.
Well, and it's an audition,
right?
Essentially, because their first two games of the year were incredibly close. 2-point loss to Furman in the opener, and then a 1-point come from behind win against Maine last week. So there hasn't been much opportunity for Brannick to play. Ball bounces, fielded by Courtney. He's got a seam. Cameron Courtney, one man to beat. Oh, and he's tackled at the 50. By a shoestring.
That was a really good tackle there by Brendan Robinson, the sophomore defensive back for William & Mary. He looked like at the last moment just got the shoestring. Maybe got I don't even know what he got. He got a little thigh board and then maybe got a little fingertip on the toe.
39-yard return for Courtney, who's now well over 100 yards all-purpose today between receiving, rushing, and kick returning. Harrison Whaley in the backfield with Kalen. Receives this carry. Whaley dancing for a first down. Well, certainly, if you're a fan of Virginia, you look at their ACC slate, very favorable. They don't have to take on Miami. They don't play Georgia Tech, rather. They do have a date, though, Dustin, in 2 weeks, looming on a Friday night here in Charlottesville against Florida State. Could be massive for this Virginia team, assuming they handle business next week against Stanford.
Well, obviously, Stanford is coming to town next week, followed by Florida State on a Friday. You got to think, man, if you're Virginia, what if you could somehow get to the bye week 5-1
with a top 10
with a top 10 win? And look, it's going to be a challenge to beat the Seminoles. I'm really impressed with what they've got going down there right now, especially this year. But if they're 5-1 going into that bye week with wins over Louisville, wins over Stanford, and a top 10 win, as you said, Matt, against the Seminoles, I think people will be talking about the Cavaliers being the surprise team in the ACC.
Particularly given where they were picked to finish.
Correct.
14th in the preseason poll. Well, last year, 5 wins, most in Elliott's tenure. There's a couple of those that felt like could have gone either way, but they are so reloaded offensively, and they return much from last year's defensive production. Deepest and most talented roster for sure.
Injury timeout on the field.
According to Tony Elliott since he arrived. And a William and Mary player down after the play. It's Ethan Yip. And they can really ill afford to lose anybody else in the secondary. Down Latrell Smith, Leaks, and Aiden Ryan already to start the game. A reminder coming up next, North Carolina taking on the Richmond Spiders. Also in the Colonial Athletic Conference for now.
For now.
Intriguing FCS P4 matchup coming up next on the ACC net in Chapel Hill. By the way, if you're intrigued by Georgia Tech Clemson, 1:24 left in the third quarter. Clemson with the football up 1. That's over on ESPN at the moment. And that will take us to the end of the third quarter. On to the fourth we go. 52-14 Virginia. All Hoos on UVA Strong Day in Charlottesville. Well, William & Mary is certainly a very proud program. 75 NFL draft picks. But how about the coaches who have been there? Marv Levy, who turned 100 this year. Lou Holtz. Mike Tomlin, now the head coach of the Steelers, was a wide receiver at William & Mary in the 90s. Sean McDermott also played right after Tomlin. They overlapped for a season. Buffalo Bills head coach. Boy, they had a big win week 1, didn't they?
They did. Funnily enough, I have connections to all 3 of those gentlemen. Marv Levy was my GM when I was in Buffalo. Mike Tomlin coached me in Minnesota, and Sean McDermott was my secondary coach when I was in Philadelphia.
A lot of William & Mary grads coaching in the NFL, not necessarily as head coaches like McDermott and Tomlin, but on staffs. Brian Dable, of course.
Dan Quinn.
Yep. It has been a pipeline of the NFL, really, since the program started. Kalen directing traffic and is now ushered out of bounds by the Cornell transfer, Luke Banbury. It was interesting, too, in chatting with Mike London, the head coach of William & Mary. He has such a great relationship and a fondness for Sean McDermott, Mike Tomlin, open line of communication. Even during the season, he said, those guys mentoring him, checking in on the program. It's a real brotherhood in Williamsburg, Virginia.
Well, when you come from a smaller school and you make it to the highest level of your sport, there is certainly, as you mentioned, a fraternity there among the coaches that definitely want to share the wealth of knowledge that they have and they've gained along the way. And both Tomlin and McDermott, I can just tell you from personal experience, 2 of the greatest human beings you're going to meet.
Well, Luke Banbury certainly hoping he can go to the NFL. Ashley, don't you think?
Yeah, I had a chance to spend some time talking with him ahead of today's game, and I said, what made you decide on William & Mary? And he said it was a lot of things. It was the culture, it was the program, it was what Mike London had to say to him, but also those connections that London have to the NFL. He said if you would have asked him before, he would have never thought he had a chance to play, but with the success he's had so far this season and those connections, he feels like the window to playing professionally might just be open.
Well, he's top 5 in the FCS already through 3 weeks in tackles. And given the fact that NFL scouts know about William & Mary, look, they've had 75 NFL draft picks. A former left tackle is now starting for the Raiders this year. There is reason for scouts to come to Williamsburg, Virginia, and see somebody like Luke Banbury, who's trying to make a childhood dream come true in his final season of college football.
Well, I've been so impressed with this young man and his performance today and everything he's been able to do from a standpoint of just being around the football. You know, sometimes that's just half the battle, like having a nose and a knack to be able to just get around the ball. Banbury's got that ability, and certainly there's a place for him, you know, to make it to the National Football League, at least to get into a camp. And you know, I played with a bunch of dudes like him from smaller schools that maybe didn't run the fastest or jump the highest or didn't play at the highest level, but man, they're just war daddies, right? And they get the opportunity and make the most of it.
Well, he certainly wants a spot in the NFL in the future. Today, he's getting a spot in Dustin Fox's foxhole.
I've been saying it all game. I mean, that's a guy that I would put in the foxhole with me, and he's going to get the prestigious award today, Matt, of being in the foxhole. 9 tackles today, 16 a week ago. I mean, the guy, I don't know. I mean, if you're unsure who's in on the tackle, just say number 4. You know what I mean? That's
You'll
a guy.
probably be right.
You can win with 11 players like him. No question.
2nd and 8 keeper. Brannick not afraid to lower his shoulder at the quarterback position. A 4-year high school starter and a 4-year lacrosse player at the varsity level out of the great state of Maryland. 3rd down and 4 with 12 minutes to go here in Charlottesville, Virginia.
What's the greatest thing about the state of Maryland, Matt?
It's got to be crab cakes and football, right?
I was going to say Baby Bassell.
Our great statistician. Comebacker to Devin Thompson. And he turns it into extra yardage, moving the chains on 3rd down. A rare 3rd down conversion against this Virginia defense, just the 3rd of the year. Nice stretch of games here for Virginia at home. Of course, today and then next week against Stanford. And as we discussed at the end of the 3rd quarter, a big one looming a couple of weeks from now, a Friday night tilt against Florida State, currently a top 10 team in the polls. Certainly impressed. Week 1, dominant win against Alabama. They just, and it's shocking to even say this, out-physicaled the Alabama Crimson Tide. Is it too early, Dustin, to say that Florida State is back from an abysmal season a year ago?
Injury timeout on the field.
Are they back?
We'll get to that in a moment.
I'll get to think about it.
Injury timeout. We'll be right back after this. Second down and 14 for William and Mary. 55-14 lead for Virginia. Noah Vaughn, good to see him on the sideline, though, with crutches and a boot on his right leg after rushing for over 100 yards in the first half. Exited with a lower right leg injury, and we hope for the best for Noah Vaughn, who was a huge part of their ground attack today against William and Mary. Fumble scooped up by Brannick, rolling out and almost completed the pass. but was unable to do so. Brings up 3rd and 14. It's interesting. As Kitchings told us, this is the deepest running back room he's ever had the pleasure of coaching, and Vaughn is absolutely part of that conversation, though his carries may not have rivaled somebody like Jamari Taylor. He is somebody that they will feed the football to, assuming he's healthy, a lot during the ACC slate. So we went to break talking about Florida State, and I asked you, after seeing them take down Alabama in the way they did, Dustin, in week 1, are they back? And you think?
I would say that it's way too early to tell, because that was a week 1 game where it just appeared like nothing went in favor of the Crimson Tide, and they hit a bit of a buzzsaw against the Seminoles. Now, since then, Florida State played a non-competitive matchup against East Texas A&M, 77-3, and they're on a bye today, followed by Kent State next weekend, and then followed by coming here to Scott Stadium,
which will really be their next test.
So exactly right. The test is going to be in a few weeks
for both teams.
Yes. However, I would say that most fans are, listen, if you're a fan of college football and have been for a long time, obviously you have your allegiance to your programs, your schools, where you went, where you're a fan of whatever. But I think it's good for college football that Florida State is good again. So regardless of if they're back, that we'll determine all that at the end of the season. And next year, are they back? They won a heck of a game week 1, I'll tell you that much.
By the way, 3rd string freshman quarterback Cole Gear now into the game for Virginia, replacing Daniel Kalen. First action of the year for Gear out of Griswold, Connecticut. On the sweep to Abdullah. One team we haven't really talked about, and I feel like sort of gets forgotten still, despite making the ACC championship game last year when it comes to ACC football conversation. SMU. Kevin Jennings, who led them to the CFP last year, is back at the quarterback position. Are they a contender again this year?
I would think you have to think that the Mustangs will have a chance to be in the mix. Very, very impressive season a year ago. Had to go to Happy Valley in the playoffs, and certainly that's a tough place to play. One of my favorite venues to play in college football. But yeah, I think they'll be in the mix.
Very interesting to see how everything shakes out in this league, particularly given the situation right now between Clemson and Georgia Tech. By the way, that's over on ESPN as that gets past the punter Boyd and out of the back of the end zone. And there are no flags. Safety on Virginia.
First win of the season, great road win. First win for Coach Belichick as head coach of the Tar Heels. First of many. Game ball for you, Coach.
Game balls do you think Bill Belichick's been given in his career? He's used to giving them out, not receiving them.
That's a great question. I mean, that's a special one for him.
No doubt.
You know, going to the college ranks and certainly wasn't the way that they wanted to open the season, but bounced back in week 2. If you're Belichick, do you have like a ultimate man cave that is just basically
Trophy
like
filled?
Yeah, I mean, like the size of the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton.
I don't know.
I've had the pleasure of visiting my former coach Jim Tressel's house, and he's got some really cool stuff in his basement.
I bet.
It's really a lot of pictures. He's a big picture guy.
So if Bill Belichick is a picture guy, imagine the photos
Oh
in
my God.
his basement. You would think 6 of them would include Tom Brady and a Super Bowl trophy.
Indeed.
They are in action after us on ACC Network, taking on Richmond. Same conference as William and Mary. Brannick dancing out across the 50. Meanwhile, Georgia Tech with a touchdown lead in the 4th. Clemson driving with the football. That's over on ESPN right now. Wouldn't that be something? If Georgia Tech was able to stun Clemson, begin their season 3-0 with wins over the Tigers and the Colorado Buffs. Certainly helps to have a veteran quarterback returning in Haynes King. That's made a plethora of P4 starts in his career at Texas A&M. Be intriguing to watch that game finish over on ESPN. Third and 3. And it's in the dirt, incomplete. They will be flying the Georgia Tech flag as high as they can in Atlanta, Georgia tonight if they're able to pull off the upset. They have lost 9 games in a row in that series. Last win against Clemson back in 2014. 4th down and 3. Pressure. Pass is caught and complete for a first down to Joseph Johnson. Now, hang on a second here. It was waved incomplete by the back judge.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass and turnover on downs. First down, Virginia.
Mike London disagrees, and Noah Brannick disagreed immediately when that call was waved off. Initially, a completed catch, we thought. We'll see if they review it when we come back from break. All Virginia.
The ruling on the field of an incomplete pass is under further review.
So we will stay here actually and find out whether or not it was a completed catch. apparently everybody's watching this game, including the folks here in Charlottesville. It's now a 1-point game in Atlanta between Clemson and Georgia Tech after the touchdown pass on goal-to-goal by Cade Klubnik. What a finish we're setting up to have in Atlanta. Assuming the converted PAT, Dustin, it would be Georgia Tech ball. 3.5 minutes to play, and Georgia Tech opportunity to control its own destiny in many respects. How would you play that, by the way? Are you trying to run some clock, or you just forget all that and just go to try to score?
I mean, you'd have to sort of like talk to your analytics expert in terms of like how you want to proceed. I would say you certainly would like to get a first down or two and see where you're at in the field, and then you make the call. Like once you get under the 2-minute warning, depending on how many timeouts are left and where you're out in the field, that determines how aggressive you want to be. It is a bit of a cat and mouse game, and they've gotten so good with being able to run these numbers, Matt, that I would rely, if I was the coach, I would just rely upon sort of like where we're at on the field.
They are currently, by the way, reviewing the touchdown call on the field. Speaking of offense, a historic day here in Charlottesville. First time in program history the Virginia offense has tallied 700 yards in a game. That is
a record-setting day. I mean, Whaley had the 97-yard rush for a touchdown, which was a school record, longest run in the history of Virginia football, and then tag on 707 yards.
Almost 400 of that 707 has come on the ground. Gear completed catch to Dylan Newton-Short, the true freshman. Virginia's offense was so dominant in this game that their starting quarterback Chandler Morris sat. With still 5 minutes to go in the first half, we have not seen him since. Now the Cavaliers, of course, will turn their attention to Stanford, who is in action later on tonight, right here on the ACC Network. 10:30 Eastern kick against Boston College. Davis on the carry. Nice pickup from Zay Davis. Foxy, I know it's always tough in these games where one team is heavily outmatched, but what do you take away from this if you're a Virginia fan?
The offense is legit. I think the offense back-to-back weeks has shown that they can play with anybody. And look, I know this is, you know, competition down and that whole thing, but when you combine it with the performance a week ago against a legitimate team in this conference, I think you're saying, all right, we have a standard now for the season with Chandler Morris at quarterback, and with our ability to run the football. They can be as balanced as they want to be. They can go at a pace that as fast as they would like to go or slow as they would like to go, and put points on the board. I'm sure fans out there who have watched this team for decades or even just the last 5 to 10 years have said, man, this is a breath of fresh air. It's kind of fun to watch like some real football, real offense that's just, you know, explosive plays, putting points on the board. It's a fun brand of football, I'll tell you that much.
Certainly. And when you look at their offense last year, I mean, it was lackluster. They were second to last in scoring in the ACC. They were bottom 4 in total offense. They dealt with the turnover bug in a season that started 4-1 before losing 5 of their last 7 games. There is real hope this year with all the weapons and, of course, the man behind center, Chandler Morris, given all he was able to do last year at North Texas and throughout his career, including at TCU. We will take our final timeout in Charlottesville. 2 minutes left in the ball game.
Timeout of the half.
55-16 Hoos. later on tonight, a massive game for one ACC team. Darian Mensah returns to his old program, taking on BYU transfer Jake Retzlaff. Duke, Tulane, 8 Eastern on the Deuce. Foxy, how do you see that one playing out?
It's going to be a tight ball game. I think that Tulane, frankly, they had this one circled since the offseason acquisition of Duke attaining Darian Mensah. And, you know, they didn't play that well last week against South Alabama, talking about Tulane. And this is, I mean, you're talking about Duke, they've got to go into NOLA and face a very talented team. And Retzlaff is, we saw him week 1. I mean, I think this kid can play. We know he can play, but I mean, it's going to be a really good game tonight. I think it's a coin flip matchup.
A lot of good football on later today. You got that game on ESPN2. You got a great game later on tonight on ESPN. Of course, Georgia Tech right now in a tie game with the football against Clemson. And then in the SEC rather, a couple of monster games tonight. South Carolina, Vanderbilt. Clemson will have their eye on that one. Florida and LSU, and then maybe the premier matchup of the day, getting set to kick off very, very soon at Rocky Top, Tennessee, trying to snap a skid against Georgia. They have not won in that series since 2016. Meanwhile, Virginia turns the page, and we'll look ahead to ACC play, taking on Stanford next, and then a big-time date with Florida State on a Friday night here in Charlottesville in just a couple of weeks. Should be a fun matchup of two veteran transfer quarterbacks and two offenses that look a whole lot different than they did a season ago. Historic day for Virginia's offense. Over 700 yards for Chandler Morris and company. First time in program history.
Impressive performance. Wasn't really unexpected from Virginia's standpoint today. We knew it was going to be a little bit of an overmatched squad in William and Mary, but they got it done, and they did it in all aspects. Most impressive to me, the running game of the Cavaliers.
No doubt. Almost 400 yards rushing for Virginia. Coming up, Richmond and North Carolina here on ACC Net. For Dustin Fox, Ashley Stroline, our entire ESPN crew. I'm Matt Schumacher saying goodbye from Charlottesville. We send you to ACC Huddle with Taylor and the crew.